Welcome to Art Ed Radio, the podcast for art teachers. This show is produced by the Art of Education, and I'm your host, Tim Bogan. All right, it is conference week. I've been talking about it on the podcast here for a while. Last couple of episodes have featured some of our conference presenters, but this week is finally the week. Amanda and I are traveling to Chicago on Thursday. We have the kickoff on Friday, main event Saturday, AfterPass on Sunday. A lot of great things going on. As always, we want to do a conference preview episode to talk about some of the kind of exciting things that we have happening over the next few days. And if you're not registered yet, you can find everything you need at theartofeducation.edu/now. We will link to that in the show notes as well. But for today's episode, Janet Taylor is here. She and I have been working to put together this conference for months, and I think we are both looking forward to everything that's going to be happening this weekend. So, Janet, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I love chatting about this conference. It gets
I
me so
know, I
excited.
know. We're both probably more excited than anyone else, just because we've been trying to put this together for so
hmm
long,
hmm
and it has finally come together. We're gonna have an awesome weekend with a lot of really cool things happening. But before we get to all of that, I would love to know how the return to school has been for you over the past few weeks. Like, how are we feeling about school right now? How do you think most teachers are feeling about school right now?
Hmm. Well, that's a really good question because I'm not sure,
Hey, that's fair.
Um,
That's fair.
yeah, like over break, I really didn't do any, like I totally disconnected from everything, detached.
Yeah.
And I think I just needed that. It felt really good to come back and I felt, "Oh, okay, all right, here we go."
I know, along with putting together the Now conference with me, you've done a ton in the Art of Ed community. Super fun every time I go check in there. But like, can you give us updates on what's happening in the community?
Yeah, so it's exciting watching it really build. I mean, I think we have over
Yes, I saw
4,000
over
people in there.
5,000
Yeah,
people.
members. Yeah, it's really exciting. And I have to say, okay, so when you go in to like become a member, you have to fill out a couple questions, just to make sure that we know who that
Hmm.
you exist and you're not a bot, right? So I'm loving reading those and seeing, what interests people or why they're coming to the community. So it's really, that's to me is really
Yeah, for
exciting to
sure.
see. We have like such a range of teachers on the community now. So we have like veterans,
Hmm.
of course, veteran teachers, and we have a lot of like new
Good,
teachers, new art teachers
good.
looking for some
Yeah.
support. We have general education teachers who are turning to art teaching,
Also very cool to see. Yeah.
Um, I know it's really exciting. We have teachers working on their master's program. We have some working on national board. And what is always interesting to me is also like what do I want to say? Non-traditional, art educators. Like maybe they're on the museum
Oh,
side, maybe they're more online or homeschool, that kind of stuff, which is really interesting to me too. Or I think I just saw somebody who was like a dance teacher and they wanted to access,
hmm.
ideas to translate it into their world.
I
I was like,
feel like,
what a great
yeah,
community. How rich,
that's
right?
awesome. There's always so much to learn from people who are teaching in different spaces or teaching in different ways.
hmm
So that is very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So as we're like all these people are coming in and we're building, it's really exciting because we are getting new spaces. We have some perks. We have, just really interesting content and like engaging conversations, right? So my favorite also is when people are like, I'm leaving Facebook to come here. Like, and so they're looking for that same, it's the same
Yeah, I mean,
engagement
like,
that you would get in,
if you're only using
in
Facebook
a
for
positive
the art
way.
teacher groups, like, just come to the community. Like, that's
hmm
a way better
hmm
place to be.
Yeah. So, like each month, we have themes. So, right now, we're talking about kind of resetting
Hmm.
expectations, classroom management, behaviors, that kind of stuff. And then next month, I'm excited because that's coming up here in a hot minute, right? We're going to be looking at curiosity and creativity in the art room. But what I love is like people post anything, right? We have
Yes.
Yeah, so we have these spaces. So we have like a teacher lounge, which is like the main space, right? And then we have spaces that are like specific to your level,
Mhm,
like high school, middle
mhm.
school, elementary. You can be part of all of them if you want, right? But it's nice because you get your people and you know how to find the help that you need or whatever. But my favorite is like talking about like um I'm like struggling with students' names as the new
Yeah,
semester started. It's like my kryptonite, right? So I'm like, help everybody. What do you do to remember kids' names? Or like if you're curious about the best erasers to use, or if you want to laugh at my alpha slang, Gen Alpha
you can say
slang, you
your
know?
students don't wanna laugh,
Um,
but other teachers might wanna laugh.
no, exactly. If I want to feel some sort of camaraderie and like I'm not feeling like crickets in the classroom, I'll just talk to you guys.
Exactly.
It's great. Um, but yeah, and, like we have a art gallery too, where you can share your own artwork. You can share about like your ceramics exploding in the kiln. You know what I mean? Like you just get all of the things that we need, right? That
Yeah,
support.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty awesome. And then of course, like I know we've talked about this before, like the art club and the pop-up studio. We have one of those, last week, and then it's just great
Yeah.
opportunities to
So many good
connect. Yeah.
opportunities to connect. Whether, like you said, you wanna just have those conversations, whether you need confession time about something that you did wrong. But no, people are there to support. If you just wanna make some
Yeah.
art with other art teachers, like, all those opportunities are there, which I think is very cool. But
Now, I'm not like biased, but I just want to say it is like a
it is.
judgment-free zone. It has been really, really
Yeah,
wonderful.
I really appreciate that aspect of it. Okay, so the reason I ask though is because we also have a community space talking about the Now conference, some of the
Hmm.
presentations that we're looking forward to. So I was wondering if you've seen anything in there in the community that's worth sharing about what people are looking forward to. But I would also like to know what you are looking forward to, like what presentations at this conference you think are going to be worthwhile for people.
Well, this is always the hardest question to answer, right? Because I know, right, you and I, we know all of the
Yeah.
presentations and I get so excited about them all. So how about I'll share a couple of the things that or what people are excited
Yeah,
about in
that
the
would be
community.
awesome. I
So we
would
can
love to
share
hear.
that. Okay, we'll start there and then I'll go into my diatribe about all the things that I love. Okay, so Catherine K says, I love this. She said, I always look forward to the Now Winter Conference because it's like my Super Bowl, which it is my Super Bowl because I ignore football. But anyway, I'm most interested this year in the talk about embracing boredom in the art room. I feel like sometimes I feel so pressured to be producing every second, and I feel like I nag the kids to keep going, which is
Mm,
so, yeah, common
for
feeling,
sure.
right? Giving myself and my students permission to have some headspace and process a concept is very
Yeah.
appealing. So, this is a great presentation by Chris Hodge, which you might have known from other presentations, but also many masterpieces he did with us. And he talks about like sitting in the boredom and activities that you can do to kind of engage students' thinking processes instead of like accessing a phone or
Right.
accessing online screens, right? Imagination and visioning and all that stuff. So I'm excited about that
Yeah, I
one.
was just going to say quickly, I think that's sort of a tough concept for us to wrap our heads around. It's also tough to think about,
Mhm.
alternatives to phones, getting kids to convince them to maybe put them away. But I think Chris gives you a good framework on how to think about it and specific ways to kind of approach it. And I think that's going to be really
Yeah.
helpful for people.
Yeah, I agree. And then you just had Abby Houston
Yes.
on the
Yes.
podcast. So people are excited, of course, about hers. I am too. Anna in the community says, I have kindergarten and first graders, and having a sketchbook is on my supplies list. Because Abby's talking about how to develop a thriving sketchbook practice, I should have said ahead of time. So Anna says, I want to take more opportunities to use the sketchbook besides using it as a precursor for the projects and creativity time, like free
Yeah.
time. So I love that, like integrating it into
Mhm.
a regular
I'm just
practice in the
thinking about
classroom.
all the explorations you could do with first and second graders in the sketchbook, just trying out
Mm,
so many new things. Like, oh.
They're so creative and imaginative.
It's
Oh,
fun.
it's exciting. Also, a big popular one will be the reduction printing with Melinda
Yes.
Moen and Wendy Kubiak. Yeah. So I think a lot of us really struggle with teaching reduction prints. Like I've taught printmaking, and it just seems like, oh, no big deal to teach a reduction. Like, not a big deal. I know how to
Yeah.
do printmaking. It's not as easy
No,
as it
no.
looks. Like
I
to
mean,
think backwards and
it took me a while to
subtractive,
wrap my
right?
own head around it, and then even longer to figure out how to
Hmm.
explain it to students.
How to teach it.
So
Yeah.
yeah, seeing Melinda and Wendy just breeze through it, I was just like, "Oh, they're so great." So
Hmm.
it's going to be inspiring,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple more that
Yeah.
I'm excited about. Vintage video games with Katie Nasser. I was watching this and my son was sitting, I was like doing
Uh-huh.
work and he's sitting on the side and I was like, "Oh my God, you have to see this. We have to do this." And he's like, "Oh, video games, what?" But it's like the analog, it's just so great, the engineering and the STEM action going on, STEAM going on there is
Yeah,
really exciting. So I like
making
that
making
one.
little video game consoles out of cardboard, and they're actually playable, and
Hmm.
it's such a cool concept. So I think people
Yeah.
will like that. Can I share a couple things I'm excited about too?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Please.
so forever people have been, asking like, "Hey, we need more elementary specific content. We need more secondary specific content." And, we try and make all of the presentations applicable K-12, but we decided that we're going to go with specific content this year. So the second hour of the conference we're going to split, so elementary people can go see some elementary presentations, secondary people can see some secondary presentations, including yours, Janet, and
Uh,
we'll have some specific things. And so I'm excited to try that out. I hope it goes well. We have the art teacher roundtable, which will be another really, really good conversation. It's about creativity, both for ourselves and for our students. So that should be a good one. We have some great presenters. And then Jen Lieben and Todd Lieben are going to be talking about AI and how we can leverage it in the art room. And so I know there are a lot of people who have avoided learning about AI or avoided using AI. And,
mhm.
for better or for worse, that's fine. But Jen and Todd do a really good job of explaining what it is, showing how it can be used, how it can be of benefit to us and to our students. And I think they take a lot of the intimidation factor out of it, because I know it can be scary
Mhm.
for a lot of people, but they do a great job of simplifying and explaining and showing how it can be used. So I think that's going to be a really good presentation for people to see. And then of course Carrie Mae Weems, she's been a photographer, an artist that I've loved forever. She's our keynote presenter, and could not be more excited about having the opportunity to interview her and for everybody to see that interview. I think it's going to be a great one. So, looking forward
Mhm.
to all of that. So, the other thing that people are excited about, and I should ask you about this, is the kickoff art making. Uh, so,
Mhm.
you've worked with Ruth Byrne before. Ruth is an amazing art
Mhm.
teacher who has done presentations for us before. She's going to do art making for us, and also she's going to be presenting about Johari windows. So, can you just give us a rundown of what I guess Ruth's expertise is, and kind of what she's going to be presenting for everybody this weekend?
Yeah, so Ruth is elementary, K through I think 5 is the
Mm.
top grade level that she teaches. And she's just truly visionary, I think, in her realm. And so years ago, a couple of years ago, I guess, I saw her post something about Froebel's gifts, and I was like, "What is that?
Yeah, I'm not.
Like, what are you talking about? What gifts? Like, what?" Um, but I watched this, and so I this is how we got her to the Now conference. I think,
Yeah.
a couple of years ago, I was like, "Can you tell me more about this? Because I'm really intrigued." And it's really mind blowing hearing her talk about this because I think for me, this is something I didn't really understand or think about, and it's like basically teaching kids art kind of from backwards. So in a way, we always think about teaching them to draw first,
Yeah.
right? And with this, it's like using blocks, like three-dimensional, and using their creativity that way. I mean, that's how kids, when they're very, very little, start creating, right? Is with blocks. And then like breaking that down into shapes and then breaking that into lines. And just, I'm butchering this, right? She does an amazing job of teaching this. So I think it's going to be fun to watch her kind of in action, actually
Yeah.
creating,
Yeah,
right? With that.
absolutely.
And then she's doing at the conference, the main event, she's doing a presentation on Johari Windows, which is basically, again, like this way to deconstruct how to analyze work, kind of almost a graphic organizer in a way to help students think more deeply about the connection between the artist creating and their intentions and the audience perception or
Mhm.
reading, right?
Mhm.
Reading that text or whatever. And then using it backwards again to help create artwork. So again, some I feel like she has these really big kind of topics that my brain struggles to wrap my head around, but she does it in such an accessible way that I'm like, wow, this is mind blowing, to learn
Yeah,
about.
absolutely. And I was just going to say, I will link in the show notes to Ruth's old presentation about Froebel's gifts. And so if anybody's feeling like an overachiever and they want to do their homework before the art making session on Friday, you can watch that and get a good introduction. But Ruth will also explain, she'll be in the art making room with Amanda. And I know that's going to be a great time. So yeah, you can check that out. You can learn about Froebel's gifts, how to bring them into the elementary art room, and do some really cool art making with that. And then on the flip side, I'm going to be in the other art making room with Andrea Sluzarski, sort of our resident creativity expert. She is a
Hmm.
professor in Colorado, does all sorts of research and really cool lesson design having to do with creativity. And so we're going to do some different creativity exercises and talk about how you can use them for yourself, for your own art making, and also give a few suggestions about what you can do with your students and how you can bring that back to your classroom. So, yeah, you can take your choice on Friday night and see where you want to go and what you want to do as far as art making. But I think both sessions are going to be spectacular. Okay, Janet, speed round time. I would love for you
Okay.
to give us some good advice on the best way to approach the main event on Saturday. There's like 5 hours of learning, all kinds of presentations.
Hmm.
What's the best way to go about it for people who are coming to watch everything live on Saturday?
Okay, so I feel like our audience has got to be pretty familiar with the way the conference is set up for the main event, but just a quick reminder that it's curated. And so you just kind of come and you show up. And so I think that's the best part of it. You don't have to sift through and figure out where you're going to go, what you're doing, which presentation you want to watch now or later, except for maybe the secondary and elementary hour that
But
we're
just
adding in.
every presentation is good. Like they're all going to be good. You don't
Yes,
have to make choices. You can watch
right.
all of them.
Exactly. They're just all there, curated for you. So my approach is always to kind of do a quick preview of the conference guide. I like to highlight anything that I need to see. Like, I have
Right.
to see this. And then I mark anything kind of like I could watch this right away, or I could put it in the after pass because I need to give myself a bathroom break or something like that, or a
Yes.
stretch break. Um, that kind of thing. So, and I know we're doing a little bit more of that this
Mhm.
time, right? A little bit
Yeah.
more extra breaking to give you that space. But I think creating yourself like a little nest to be in for the day, I think is the best approach to kind of sit down, have your snacks in front of you, make sure you have your art materials that you might want to use, your sketchbook to take notes. Um, that kind of a thing, I think is a great way to do that. I also like to put in AirPods or, earbuds or something, so that nobody
Yes.
bothers me, right? I like to go in my basement. I like to make my nest, like I said, and I'm like, I'm out for the day. It has been difficult. I've had in the past where I've had to, juggle the
Right.
kids or whatever.
Right.
And it is is difficult. But the great thing about that is even if you miss something, it's all on the after pass. So you can always mark that later. Like I have to go back and watch
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, please don't neglect your children. But if you if you
Like,
have the chance,
Like,
Yeah,
go.
if you have the chance to kind of lock in, as the kids say, you
Hmm.
can do that, and yeah, that is highly recommended. Okay, and then you mentioned the after pass. That's going to be available on
Hmm.
Sunday for anything that people missed. What is the best way to approach that?
So I usually go through what I kind of missed or wasn't fully
Mm,
engaged in to rewatch that. I make sure I rewatch anything that really intrigued me or I needed to like digest a little bit more to take back to my
yes.
classroom. And also really love going back and finishing any art making
Oh,
that
yeah,
you couldn't
great
do in the
idea.
moment. Sometimes you feel, yes, right, like, oh, I didn't have my materials ready, or whatever it was. So going back and kind of rewatching that and feeling good about your art making experience, I think is a great way to approach
Yeah, I
that.
was just gonna say a lot of times there are things where I will watch on Saturday and be like, "Oh, that is a great idea," and you just kind of
Hmm.
figure like, oh, I'd like to use that sometime. It's really good to go back on Sunday or in March whenever you have time, just kind of rewatch,
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
think specifically, think more specifically about how do I use this in the classroom? Not just, hey, this is a cool concept, but
Hmm.
think about, hey, this fits in with this lesson or this fits in with this idea that I'm going to be teaching, and you can think more specifically about where that's going to go in your curriculum or how you can use that. Okay, and then Janet, before oh,
You
go
know,
ahead, go.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say to add on to that, I think what's great is we have all those resources
Yes,
available too, right? So, like, if you're wanting to put that into the classroom and you're like, wait, I forgot about this one material or whatever, it's like you can just download that information too. And so you have it available for you, which I love too.
exactly. All right, now before we go, just do you have one piece of advice for people to just kind of make the most of the conference? How can they get the most out of the conference day?
Well, my favorite is always to connect with presenters and
Yeah,
connect with your community personally. So we provide all the Instagram handles. You can go into the community and meet with people, talk about what you learned, what was exciting, ask questions. And then like when you're on social media or on the community, you can actually, when people are going back and working it in the classroom, you can actually connect with that too and see what they're actually doing, which is really exciting. So, personally, the connection between all of that is the most exciting for
yeah,
me.
I think that's a great thing to do, and I would just say like the teachers who are presenting at this conference are excited to share ideas, and so if you want to
Hmm.
talk to them more, they're going to be excited to talk to you. Like they love to share this stuff,
Yeah.
and they love to put their ideas out there if they're going to help people. So they love hearing that things are helpful. They love you asking questions. So absolutely reach out, and I think that's a great piece of advice. So all right, Janet, thank you so much for taking some time to preview the conference with me. Super excited to see everybody on Friday and Saturday, and then let you all go on your own on Sunday. But it's been great, and we will both see everybody later this week.
Yep. See you at the conference.
All right. Thank you to Janet. I appreciate her coming on. And like we said, we really could not have put together such a good conference without her. Now, before we leave, let me give you just one quick rundown of what's happening. So, Friday, we're doing the conference kickoff with games and art making. Okay, a ton of giveaways there. That's going to be Friday evening. Starts at 7 p.m. Central Time. We're going to do smart making about 8 p.m. Central. So, like I said, all sorts of amazing giveaways. We have a detective mystery that should be a pretty fun game. It's a great time to relax, a great time to do some art making, and just kind of enjoy the art teacher community and have some fun. So come join us on Friday if you can. Saturday is the main event. This is the conference itself, all of the presentations, all the learning, everything that you're looking for. Just a full day of presentations for everyone who is there. So that starts on Saturday at 10 a.m. Central, goes until 3 in the afternoon. Then on Sunday, we have the after pass with additional learning that you can access for the rest of the year. So it's an asynchronous day, and then you have the entire calendar year to dive into all of the learning that's there. So not only all of the presentations and the art making from the first 2 days of the conference, but additional presentations that dive more into specific topics. So you can really find what you're trying to learn, what you're looking for, what you're wanting to check out. A lot of additional topics, a lot of additional presenters, some really, really good stuff in there. So make sure that if you're attending the conference, you check out the AfterPass as well. Maybe something that piques your interest and can really help you. Now, if all of that sounds good to you, all 3 of those days, and I hope it all does sound good, again, you can register at theartofeducation.edu/now. You can find all the information you need there, find everything you want to know about the event, and I'm hoping that we will see you there. Art Ed Radio is produced by The Art of Education with audio engineering from Michael Crocker. Thank you for listening to the episode today. Thank you for listening to every episode. Come join us at the Now Conference next Friday, January 31st, next Saturday, February 1st, and next Sunday, February 2nd. You can find all the information you need and register at theartofeducation.edu/now.